United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, Article 297, Limitations on applicability of Section 2(1). Disputes concerning the interpretation or application of this convention with regard to the exercise by a coastal state of its sovereign rights or jurisdiction provided for in this convention shall be subject to the procedures provided for in Section 2 in the following cases. A. When it is alleged that a coastal state has acted in contravention of the provisions of this convention in regard to the freedoms and rights of navigation, overflight, or the laying of submarine cables and pipelines, or in regard to other internationally lawful uses of the sea specified in Article 58. B. When it is alleged that a state in exercising the aforementioned freedoms, rights or uses has acted in contravention of this convention, or of laws or regulations adopted by the coastal state in conformity with this convention, and other rules of international law not incompatible with this convention, or C. When it is alleged that a coastal state has acted in contravention of specified international rules and standards for the protection and preservation of the marine environment, which are applicable to the coastal state, and which have been established by this convention, or through a competent international organization, or diplomatic conference in accordance with this convention. 2a. Disputes concerning the interpretation or application of the provisions of this convention with regard to marine scientific research shall be settled in accordance with Section 2, except that the coastal state shall not be obliged to accept the submission to such settlement of any dispute arising out of I. The exercise by the coastal state of a right or discretion in accordance with Article 246, or 2. A decision by the coastal state to order suspension or cessation of a research project in accordance with Article 253. B. A dispute arising from an allegation by the researching state that with respect to a specific project the coastal state is not exercising its rights under Articles 246 and 253 in a manner compatible with this convention shall be submitted, at the request of either party, to conciliation under Annex V, Section 2, provided that the Conciliation Commission shall not call in question the exercise by the coastal state of its discretion to designate specific areas as referred to in Article 246, paragraph 6, or of its discretion to withhold consent in accordance with Article 246, paragraph 5. 3a. Disputes concerning the interpretation or application of the provisions of this convention with regard to fisheries shall be settled in accordance with Section 2, except that the coastal state shall not be obliged to accept the submission to such settlement of any dispute relating to its sovereign rights with respect to the living resources in the exclusive economic zone, or their exercise, including its discretionary powers for determining the allowable catch, its harvesting capacity, the allocation of surpluses to other states and the terms and conditions established in its conservation and management laws and regulations. B. Where no settlement has been reached by recourse to Section 1 of this part, a dispute shall be submitted to conciliation under Annex V, Section 2, at the request of any party to the dispute, when it is alleged that I. A coastal state has manifestly failed to comply with its obligations to ensure through proper conservation and management measures that the maintenance of the living resources in the exclusive economic zone is not seriously endangered. 2. A coastal state has arbitrarily refused to determine, at the request of another state, the allowable catch, and its capacity to harvest living resources, with respect to stocks, which that other state is interested in fishing, or 3. A coastal state has arbitrarily refused to allocate to any state, under Articles 62, 69 and 70 and under the terms and conditions established by the coastal state consistent with this convention, the whole or part of the surplus it has declared to exist. C. In no case shall the Conciliation Commission substitute its discretion for that of the coastal state. D. The report of the Conciliation Commission shall be communicated to the appropriate international organizations. E. In negotiating agreements pursuant to Articles 69 and 70, states parties, unless they otherwise agree, shall include a clause on measures which they shall take in order to minimize the possibility of a disagreement concerning the interpretation or application of the agreement, and on how they should proceed if a disagreement nevertheless arises.